What's up, guys? My name is KhaoticK, back at you guys with a little one today. We're coming at you guys with a video, and this time we're coming at you with a 4-ACO DMT review. And we'll be going over the chemical 4-ACO DMT, which is almost basically synthetic psilocin, basically synthetic shrooms. And it very much is, because this one is very, very comparable when the effects hit. It might last a little shorter than real shrooms, and it's not exactly the same chemical either. So shrooms is 4-HO DMT, if you never knew. And then 4-ACO DMT is what this is. It's also known as O-ACETYLPSILOCIN. And really, we're going to get into this substance. And I'm very excited to get into this one because this one, to me, is very therapeutic. And honestly, you can bang out a trip of this within 4 to 5 hours. It will wear off very quick, within like 4 hours. So yeah, let's get started. I hope you guys are enjoying this video. Hope you guys will stay high, stay lifted. Leave a like and a comment and subscribe. Anyways, let's get right into the video. So 4-ACO DMT, leave it down in the comments if you guys have ever tried it. This shit feels electrifyingly good. And what I mean by that is that when it hits, you kind of get this electrical, energetic feeling. It's very, very unique to this tryptamine. I haven't really gotten that like with other tryptamines. I know it could be similar. Like, say, for instance, fucking 4-HO MET or 4-ACO MET. Those are very similar together, but that is a lot more of a calm trip. A lot less electrifying. 4-ACO DMT kind of feels like you almost hit DMT. It's very similar to like the peak effect of when you smoke DMT. It's fucking trippy, man. But yeah, really, all I can say is that it could be a little uncomfortable on the come up, of course, and it actually really much is. You know, sometimes I lessen that come up with like GHB. But yeah, you can manage that stuff with a low dose of something that would relax you, you know. But anyways, other than that, you could just sit through it. Really, it's not too uncomfortable, but it could lead to a bad trip in a certain setting if you took too much. So please be aware of that. Anyways, but for the main effects of 4-ACO DMT, it is a lot of laughing. There's a lot of laughter with this one. Once it hits and fully peaks, it feels very, very akin to shrooms, although it does have a semi-synthetic feel, meaning you could tell that you didn't take shrooms. It doesn't feel as natural. It feels a lot more like forced. The trip is a lot more kind of there too. Like, I would even argue that in some circumstances it could be even more visual than shrooms, because on 4-ACO DMT in particular, I don't know, there would be some moments where I would have some intense closed eye visuals. But with shrooms, that's a hard bargain, because a good 8 or 4 gram trip of shrooms, you're going to be seeing some crazy shit. Like, I was seeing faces and stuff warping, and I could like see my thoughts. So I don't know. Actually, shrooms is still way more potent, let's be honest. But hey, 4-ACO DMT, I mean, that shit could be really, really strong too. Don't take it for granted either. You know, and if you're going into 4-ACO DMT with a lot of experience in shrooms, please still be wary of it, because again, it could be very different as well, because it is, after all, a different chemical at the end of the day. They both are considered to synthesize into psilocin when ingested. So in theory, if that is proved, right? I'm not sure. I think it has been proved. I'm not sure. But if it hasn't, they think that it does synthesize into psilocin, which is the active chemical of shrooms and 4-ACO DMT. So that's why it's so similar. But the onset of both are very different. Like, shrooms is a lot more, I would say, calmer, maybe. Because that's also a hard bargain to say, because it's really, really dependent on what you took, how much you took, what kind of strain even. It varies. But yeah, again, you have to be wary of that. Not every experience is going to be the same. So I would say the trip of 4-ACO DMT, again, this doesn't last as long as shrooms. Shrooms didn't last as long, but shrooms do last up to at least 6 hours. This lasts up to at least 4 hours, and you do start to notice it die down quite a bit. And you're pretty much back to baseline at the 6 hour mark. So you have a 2 hour come down. And don't get it wrong, I mean, it's very, very, very therapeutic. It's very much there because I believe this was actually used as an alternative to shrooms, in a therapy setting. They did actually test it like that. I remember reading something about that. So they have tested it. They have tried, using it for trials for therapeutic sessions, and it's just as good as, as shrooms, for instance, for therapy sessions. And I could vouch for that because, in particular, for me, it really reset a lot. And my neurotransmitters are fucking top notch nowadays. And this was just doing one trip a week. So I take a trip every weekend. And I've been doing that for the past 2 months. And boy, are the changes very noticeable. So you don't have to take microdoses. You could just take one good trip a week. And you could take a gram, 2 grams if you're taking shrooms, or 10 milligrams to 20 milligrams if you're taking synthetic shrooms, 4-ACO DMT. But yeah, that's the dosage right there. So 10 milligrams is equal to 1 gram of shrooms. And again, they could vary a little bit. One could be more visual than the other. There could be shrooms that are really, really, really strong. There could be shrooms at 1 gram that look like a 8th trip, for instance. And there, could only be 10 milligrams of 4-ACO DMT at a time, right? But usually 10 milligrams 4-ACO DMT is a lot more predictable than 1 gram of shrooms, for instance. So yeah, that's the only difference between both. That, shrooms, there could be a lot more psilocin in one 1 gram than the other because of the way it's grown, and that also is kind of random. It'd be hard to keep track of all that unless you have laboratory level of skill and equipment and testing. So yeah, but most users aren't like that. They're just regular consumers at the end of the day, just like you and me. But yeah, anyways, so 4-ACO DMT, man, this shit was fucking awesome. And I would give it a 10 out of 10. I would give 11 out of 10, man. This shit is very, very good for your brain. My brain's been feeling top notch, like I said. And every time it takes this drug now, it actually feels very, very just relieved. It's a very relieving substance. It's a very calming and stoning substance. So when you take this in public, don't take it in public. Please don't. Because it's going to kind of ruin the trip, I believe. It's very stony. You want to lay down. And if you don't have a place to lay down, that could be a problem. You never know how sensitive you can become on these substances, and you really have to be diligent in, the recovery of it too. You want to be in a good setting for when you're on the come down as well. But yeah, 4-ACO DMT, if you do take it with something that calms you down, I would say this would be better in public. But after the peak, I do notice 4-ACO DMT is very calm. You're not going to have any anxiety. It's during the peak that obviously the anxiety is the highest. And again, it's attributed to the electrical feeling. It has a very energetic sustenance. It's very, very interesting. So you would have to try it for you to really know. But yeah, leave it down in the comments if you guys have tried this chemical. Again, and please join my harm reduction Discord to have some great deep discussions there with some great people. But again, so 4-ACO DMT, very, very unique substance, very similar to NN-DMT, and meaning that during the effect of DMT, when you smoke it, during that peak, it's very similar to 4-ACO DMT. And again, you see hieroglyphic symbols, you see pretty much all the visuals of regular DMT. It's pretty trippy, except now that it's a longer trip. It's a lot more drawn out. You get to appreciate the visuals a lot more. I very, very much like that. And, the long-lasting effects of happiness, too. It's a lot shorter with this compound than I would say, than shrooms, which is interesting. Maybe that's because it's semi-synthetic, so it's not hitting the spot for as long. But, again, it does. So it's all about frequency. So if you're trying to relieve depression, I would say use it at least once a week. Save it for a good weekend or two. Try to do it every weekend. If you have, things that you're doing, that's understandable. But I guess in that circumstance, try it at least every 2 weeks because you really will notice a difference. And this could be anything. It could even be to relieve stress from work. You might not even be too depressed. You might just be stressed. So it relieves stress. It allows you to feel happier again. It feels, it really boosts your brain's plasticity back. You feel that you're almost back to normal. And that's especially the truth when, you've been through trauma, bad choices, bad families, bad friends, anything that's caused a rift in your heart. Yeah, it very, very much helps and heals. So please try it out sometime. And 4-ACO DMT, yeah, I can't really say enough about that chemical. Very, very fun chemical. I would even probably say at this point it's my favorite with the psychedelic currently. Right now, it's my favorite short-term psychedelic, short-duration psychedelic. And I would say right now, currently, I do like it more than shrooms. That's because I don't have shrooms right now, which is interesting. I don't know why I don't have shrooms, but shrooms have never been my thing. Acid's been my thing, though. So I have acid. But 4-ACO DMT, it's hitting the spot for the shrooms right now, currently. It's my replacement, I guess you could say. It has just as much therapeutic potential as shrooms, and and vice versa. Both are very, very similar, okay? I could only tell the difference if I tried, say, shrooms maybe during the same day, then took 4-ACO DMT during the same day, or shrooms one day and then 4-ACO DMT in the other, or the other way around. That's the only way I could compare and contrast. And it'd be interesting to see if the tolerance actually is the same. Like if both lower tolerance, they're just the same. That'd be pretty interesting. I would think they would because they act on similar receptors. But again, very, very similar compounds. Again, shrooms was 4-HO DMT, and this is 4-ACO DMT. So very, very similar. So it would make sense that they do synthesize into psilocin. But anyways, I went on enough of a rant. Can't say enough about this substance. Please leave it down in the comment section if you guys have ever tried it and your experiences below. Hope you guys enjoyed this video. Stay high, stay lit, stay tuned for the next one. And I hope you guys have a great rest of this year and Happy New Year 2025. Peace out.